Hello, Tashtale. Welcome back. I hope you have been doing well, and particularly in these auspicious months of Sagadawa. I do hope that you are able to spare some times for your practice. Anything that is to do with the accumulations of merits and benefiting sentient beings. So this is something that we should encourage ourselves to do, engaging in the accumulations of merits and benefiting sentient beings on this very special month of Sapadawa. And at the same time, we are being very fortunate to study the words of wisdom by Gampopa from the book Jewel Ornament of Liberation. So I'm very glad that I'm able to, share these words of wisdom with all of you. And before we do so, let's join our hands together and do the refuge prayers, and then followed by generations of bodhicitta. Sangye je danzo ge jo nam la jangju bordo da ne gyap song je da ge je so ge be so nam ge ro la den je sangye ju bor sho sangye je danzo ge cho nam la jangju bordo da ne gyap song je da ge je so ge be so nam ge ro la den je sangye ju bor sho sangye je danzo ge cho nam la jangju bordo da ne gyap song je da ge je so ge be so nam ge Dola benje sangye do bai jo semjen tam je de wa dang de we gyu dang den bore gyu je donga dang donga yin gyu dang da wa gyu je donga me de wa dang ba dang men da wa gyu je ye ren ja da yin dang de re dang yong chen bo la ne ba gyu je semjen tam je de wa dang de we gyu dang den bore gyu Donga dang donga yin gyu dang da wa gyu je donga me de wa dang ba dang men da wa gyu je ye ren ja da yin dang de re dang yong chen bo la ne ba gyu je semjen tam je de wa dang de we gyu dang den bore gyu je donga dang donga yin gyu dang da wa Dunga me ben de wa dam ba da men da wa ge je ge re ja da yi dan da we dan yang chen bo la ne ba yo je ba den za we la ma ren bo je da ge ji ro be me de sho la ka den chen bo ko ne je so ku zon do ge mo do en za do So we'll continue from where we stopped last time. So we are now trying to understand the sixth paramita, that is the perfections of wisdom awareness. And to present this, Gampopa had 7 different points to enlighten us what really this chapter means, what is the definitions of this, how many characteristics of classifications are there, and so forth. So yes, he starts from the reflecting on the faults and virtue of having and not having this wisdom awareness, and then followed by the definitions of wisdom awareness, classifications of this wisdom awareness, and then characteristics of each of those classifications, and then followed by what is to be known and what is to be practiced, and then the result, what kind of result one will achieve after understanding and practicing this wisdom awareness. So these are the 7 different points which comprise the whole understanding of this chapter, wisdom awareness. And now we know that there are different types of wisdom awareness classifications, mundane level of wisdom awareness, and the lesser supermundane and greater supermundane level of wisdom awareness. So among these 3, what needs to be known is the greater supermundane wisdom awareness, or in other words, the full and perfect awareness or the realizations of ultimate nature of all the phenomena. Or you can also call it that what you call the perfect and complete realizations of the emptiness nature or the unfabricated nature of all the phenomena. That is what we should be knowing, what we should know, and then followed by we should that understanding, we should put that understanding into practice, and then thereby we'll be able to witness the result of this. Okay, So what is to be known? In order to know this, again, Gampopa very kindly, uh, gives us another 6 different topics in order to really understand the third type of wisdom awareness, that is the greater subramundane wisdom awareness. So to present this, he has this another 6 topics: the reputations of grasping things being existence, and reputations of grasping things as being non-existent, and the fallacy of grasping non-existence, and the fallacy of the both graspings, and then the path that leads to liberation, and finally the nirvana itself. So this is how he enlightened us by presenting these different points in order to understand, fully understand the the greater supermental wisdom awareness. Something that he recommends us to understand, to know this. At least theoretically, we have some understanding, some knowledge of this. Then when you have theoretical understanding of this wisdom awareness, then obviously it will be easier for us to implement it, to really practice, put them into practice, to really practice this wisdom awareness. Okay, so this is the whole idea why he wants us to study this wisdom awareness before we really practice this wisdom awareness. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us without having any kind of theoretical understanding and in order to practice. So this is actually to support our meditation by having some kind of understanding of wisdom awareness. Among these topics, we have already studied the 5 points, and today we are on the 6th point, the nirvana itself. Okay, so the nirvana here, explanations of the 6, that the nature of nirvana is the nature of nirvana. Sorry, the nature of liberation is the nature of nirvana. So that's the topic here today. So what is nirvana then? Obviously, it is the cessations of suffering. It's freedom from all the elaborations, all the conceptual movements. It is the ceasings of all the sufferings, and very importantly, it is the cessations of all the cause of suffering. Not only the cessation of suffering, but also it is the cessations of the cause of suffering. When you are free from cause of suffering, that is known as the negative afflictions and emotions, or which is very popular as known as the 6 poisons or 3 poisons. If you are free from all these negative afflictions and emotions, then obviously you'll be completely and permanently, ultimately free from all the suffering of samsara, and that is known as liberation. It is labeled as liberation. You're liberated from the suffering of samsara. In other words, from now on, you do not need to suffer. That is why it's called liberation. You are liberated from the suffering of samsara, and that is labeled as nirvana. But how one can be liberated from the suffering of samsara? There are many different ways to understand this. Buddha has presented the way how one can achieve nirvana, how one can liberate it from the suffering of samsara, and obviously the cause of suffering of samsara. There are different labels, Buddha presented according to the capacity and understanding level of his followers. So thereby we have 3 vehicles, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, which is well known nowadays. But obviously, since we are following the Mahayana vehicle, and especially we are now focusing on the 6th paramita, Prajna paramita, we are now focusing on the realization, at least the realizations of the greater supermundane wisdom awareness. Okay, so in order to bring sentient beings to the path of liberation, there, as I mentioned earlier, Buddha has presented different ways how one can really achieve this nirvana. So first of all, there are different way to understand this path, the path that leads us to nirvana. And nirvana itself here says the nature of liberation is the nature of nirvana here. So if you really think from the Mahayana point of view, and especially from the greater supramundane wisdom awareness, there's no difference from samsara and nirvana at its essence. Because remember, when Gampopa first presented the Tathagata Garbha, Buddha nature, he first said that the nature of samsara and nature of nirvana are same. They are both emptiness. But people are confused on that basis. People do not know the nature of emptiness, so therefore they are confused. And because of that confusion, they think that things do really exist as they appear. And because of that, people give rise to grasping, attachment, anger, and so forth. And this is how slowly one creates the karma, and followed by experiencing of the result of that karma. But if you really understand the true nature of suffering as emptiness, then there's no actually different from nirvana. When you really know the true nature of suffering of samsara is emptiness, then that itself is nirvana actually. You're liberated naturally. There's no need someone else or you do not need to rely upon any kind of antidotes or remedies in order to liberate, from the suffering of samsara. If you really know the nature of suffering of samsara is emptiness, then already you are liberated. Already you are awakened from that confusion state of mind, so to speak. So if you really understand the nature of suffering of samsara as emptiness, then that itself is the liberation. So nature of liberation is nirvana. Okay, so this is what is the understanding of nirvana. But the difference is, since even though the essence of suffering, samsara, and the essence of nirvana are both emptiness, but people are confused without knowing this true nature. They take samsara and nirvana as two different entities, two different things. And because of that, they generate, what you call, kind of conceptual thoughts of having nirvana is something precious, something good, and samsara is something bad, something need to be rejected or abandoned. And this is what we call having the development of conceptual thoughts here, liking and disliking, good and bad conceptions, perceptions. And this, we need to free from this kind of conceptual thoughts, this kind of perceptions. As long as you are not free from this kind of perception, this kind of thoughts, then you are bound in the suffering of samsara. When you are free from this good and bad, something that is need to be achieved, something that need to be rejected or abandoned. As long as you hold this kind of conceptual thoughts, as long as you have this kind of perceptions, then you are bound in samsara. So we need to free ourselves from these boundaries. When you are free from these boundaries, you are free. There's openness, and you'll be able to see all phenomena as equal. This is what Buddhas and Bodhisattvas has experienced and has taught us. So here, again, liberation is not something very far away. Nirvana is not something very far away. Nirvana is not something that need to be achieved, that is very far away from us. It was already within us. That is what we call the Tathagata Garbha. the Buddha nature is already there, but we are still roaming in this suffering of samsara in the form of six realms, is because we are confused. We're confused on the basis of emptiness. We did not recognize that the nature of suffering of samsara is emptiness, that the nature of all the phenomena is emptiness. And that is why we take everything that appears in front of us as a real, as something really truly existing things. And because of that, we give so much time, value, and energy in order to achieve them, in order to get them. And when you do not achieve them, when you do not get what we lack, what we want, then we have this developed anger, jealousy, hatred towards other sentient beings. And especially if someone's disturbing, if someone's making obstacles on your path to that achievement, then you generate anger, jealousy, and so forth. This is how the creations of karma take place. So we need to free from this kind of accumulations of karma. And the easiest way to realize is to realizations of the nature of phenomena as emptiness nature. Okay, so that is what is to be known here. So if there's another thing, another doubt one may have, since we already spoke that the suffering of that all the phenomena are emptiness, they are neither existent nor non-existent thing. Anything that is in the samsara, form, sound, smell, taste, and texture, they are neither existent things nor non-existent things, right? Because if you hold one of the two, or if you fall in any of these two extremes, then you're bounded, right? That's why there's the point that Gampopa presented, that the reputations of seeing things as being existence, reputations of seeing things as being non-existence, and fallacy of grasping existence, non-existence, and both. So we already have some idea that the things in samsara are neither existent things nor non-existent things. So we should be free from these two extremes, according to the Buddha, according to wisdom awareness. In order to have complete and fully awakened state of mind, we need to be free from this kind of conceptual thoughts. Then one may wonder, okay, if the things in samsara are neither existent nor non-existent, then how about nirvana? Is nirvana something existence or non-existent? So people will have, generally this kind of doubt. So here it says all the phenomena of samsara are neither existence nor non-existence. Then is nirvana something existence or something non-existence? Some school of thoughts objectify it, thinks that the nirvana is something existent, because they are not free from these two extremes. They have still, having they do still have the good and bad conceptual thoughts. Nirvana, they take nirvana as something very precious, very good, very highly acknowledged, and something that needs to be realized. And samsara as something that need to be abandoned, that is wrong, error, loss of mistakes and shortcomings. Obviously we do, right, as a lay practitioner, and also in some school of, even within the Buddhist, some school of thought still take them as a very seriously, nirvana as something truly existent phenomenon. So according to personal paramita here, especially this super mundane, greater super mundane wisdom awareness, you should be free from that conceptual thought as well, thinking that nirvana is something very precious, nirvana is something is existent things. It's not that way. If you think nirvana as something existence or something good, something valuable, then you are still bounded in one extreme again. So you need to be free from that boundary as well. But it is not like that, according to Buddha, and here Gampopa says, because there's a quote, precious jewel garland. If nirvana is not non-existent, how could it be existent? So it's nirvana is neither existent thing nor non-existent, just like samsara. Just like things in samsara are neither existent things nor non-existent things, because they both are in their essence and is emptiness. They both holds the nature of ultimate nature of emptiness. So in emptiness, you can't really say things to really exist or things to really things are non-existence either. So you should be free from these two extremes, as is mentioned earlier by Gampopa. If nirvana were something existence, then it would have to be something compound. Relatively, yes. So if the nirvana is compound thing, then there will be arising time, maintaining time, and ceasing time. So if nirvana arised, very good. If nirvana remained, very good. But if nirvana ceases, then that's very unfortunate, isn't it? So if nirvana is existence thing, then it should be compound. And if it is compound, if it were something compound, then eventually it will perish. It will cease. So that's not the case here. Treatise of the Middle Way says, if nirvana were something existence, then it will be compounded and so forth. So therefore, nirvana is not something existent thing. Likewise, nirvana is also not non-existence either. It is said in the same work, perfectly view the nature, true nature. Perfectly viewing the true nature is seeing things as it is, neither holding of any kind of extremes, neither having kind of thoughts of existence nor having kind of thought of non-existence. You should be free from both extremes. So that is what is meant by perfectly viewing the true nature. In the being of true nature, it is free from both extremes. Then one may wonder, then what is it then? What is nirvana then? The answer is, nirvana is complete exhaustion of all the thoughts which grasp existence and non-existence. Nirvana is beyond conceptualizations and is inexpressible. So this is the nature of nirvana. Okay. The exhaustion of graspings to existence and non-existence is what is called nirvana. Engaging in the contact of bodhisattva also says that when existence and non-existence do not abide in front of the mind, then there is no alternative object. Therefore, the mind is fully pacified without projection. So in ultimate level, in the ultimate understanding, there's no such a existence and non-existent things whatsoever. And it is free from any kind of projections. The Noble Brahma Requester Sutra says that which is called the complete nirvana is the total pacifications of all perceptions and freedom from all the movements. So this is what really nirvana is. It's free from all the movements of good, bad, any kind of conceptual thoughts, any kind of perceptions, because nirvana is emptiness. The essence of nirvana is emptiness, and emptiness do not hold any kind of good or bad here and there, big or small, arising or ceasing whatsoever. It is free from all this kind of conceptual thoughts. In its reality, it is free from all the movements of good, bad, any kind of perceptions that one may have. We are stuck in samsara because of our perception. We give so much value for our importance for our perceptions. We think our perceptions, our thinking, our thoughts are highly valuable. We think our understanding is the best. Because of that, we dominate other beings in samsara. And it's all happened because of our perceptions. And because of that perceptions, we have the formations of karma. And now, in order to understand the perfect and complete wisdom awareness, we should be free from all this kind of movements, all this kind of conceptual thoughts. The White Lotus of the Sublime Dharma Sutra also says, Kashyapa, the realizations of the sameness of all phenomena is nirvana. Therefore, nirvana is merely pacifications of engagement in conceptual thoughts. It does not exist as any phenomena whatsoever, rising, cessation, abandonment, attainment, and so forth. So nirvana does not hold any kind of conceptual thoughts. It is the nature as it is, which is free from all the movements of arising, abiding, ceasing, and so forth. Thus, the foundation treatise on the middle way says, no abandonment, no attainment, no annihilations, no permanence, no cessations, no arising. This is nirvana. So the quality of nirvana are mentioned here. No abandonment, nirvana. In nirvana, in reality, in emptiness, there's nothing that need to be abandoned, because there's no kind of any error from the very beginningless. In its essence, there's no any kind of dirt that need to be abandoned. Likewise, there's nothing need to be attained, because it's already pure from beginningless time. It is already pure as its nature. So no need to attend any better than that. It itself is the best, the quality, the essence of Tathagata Garbha, or Buddha nature, or emptiness. No inhalations, and no permanence. Meaning, there's no emptiness, or you can say the true mind, or the emptiness, or the nirvana is not nothingness. So no inhalation. At the same time, nirvana is not permanence. Here, the permanence should be understood as the permanent existing thing, holding kind of permanent existing things. Therefore, if you hold nirvana as permanent existing things, then there's the mistake. There's the mistake in view here, because it is free from all both existing things and non-existing things. So therefore, not existing permanence. No cessation. In nirvana, there's no cessation, because it's already pure, dirtless, stinless nature. So there's no cessation. In other words, there's no cessation, because cessation only occurs if there's arising at the beginning. Since there's no arising of nirvana is already there from the beginningless time as our nature, as our Tathagata Garbha, as our Buddha nature. So there's no something new nirvana that is arising. When you enlighten, after your meditation, after your practice of the Dharma, there will be a time when you really attain enlightenment. And that is just a labeling that you have attained enlightenment. In reality, there's not such any kind of attainment there. It is already your nature. It was there as it is. And the only thing is you have not realized that emptiness nature of your mind. Now you have realized that emptiness of your mind, and nothing actually has changed actually. It is just what you have done is just seen as it is, as it was there from the beginningless time. So there's no any kind of arising of nirvana is there. Since there's no arising of nirvana is there, there's no cessations of nirvana either. Okay, so therefore, this is the quality of nirvana. Since it is without arising, cessation, abandonment, attainment, and so forth, nirvana is not created by oneself. It is just a natural nature of phenomena. Emptiness is the natural nature of phenomena. It's not created by anyone. It's not created by God. It's not created by Buddha and Bodhisattvas. It was just there from our beginningless time as it is. But we have not known that. That is why we are called ignorant. We did not see or realize the emptiness nature of our mind. That is why we are confused. We are confused to the base of emptiness. We did not see the emptiness, so therefore we are confused. And without that without that awareness, without that wisdom awareness, we took every appearances as real. And since we took every appearances as something real, existing phenomena, we grasp it. We have like and dislike. We have good and bad, sweet and sour, rough and soft texture, good and bad thoughts, like and dislike thoughts. All these perceptions generated. And because of that generations of perceptions, we form karma. There's a formations of karma on the basis of that perception, putting that you are valuing that your perception is the truth. And we are already confused there. That is why we say we are ignorant. We are still dreaming. We are still in the state of sleep. We are not awakened yet because we did not see the true nature of our mind, of our true nature of all the phenomena here. So therefore, it is not created by oneself. It is not contrived. Nirvana is not a transformation. We feel like we need to transform ourselves from bad to good. But in fact, ultimately, we do not need to transform. It was already good there. We just need to clarify our ignorance. That's it. We just need to pacify that ignorance, or we just need to give rise to that wisdom awareness to see the true nature as it is. That's it, actually. Therefore, it's not transformation either. The Precious Sky Sutra says there's nothing. This is very important. This quote is very important and very relevant. When I was studying in Sheta, I thought I like this quote very much, and it always stuck in my mind, and it's really very helpful actually. There's nothing at all to remove in the true nature of your mind. So no abandonment, okay? There's not the slightest things to add, no attainment, no achievement. It is the perfect view of the perfect meaning, just seeing the perfect view, the perfect meaning, or seeing as it is. When perfectly seen, one is fully liberated. So it's that easy actually. Nothing, we should not put a lot of effort. We do not need to bring kind of external antidotes, external remedies. We just need to see the nature of our mind. We just need to focus within. We just need to look inside the nature of our mind. We have always looked outward. We have always searched enlightenment externally. We have always looked nirvana externally, and that was already misguided. So now, after knowing the wisdom awareness, at least theoretical understanding, we should look within ourselves. We should look within the nature of our mind. We have to be within our mind. And when you see, when you see the nature of your mind, you're liberated. Just like that, one is fully liberated. That's why it says, when perfectly seen, one is fully liberated. There's no need to do so much hard work in order to liberate from the suffering of samsara. Just look at your mind, try to understand the nature of your mind, try to concentrate, meditate, and look within, look internally, find the nature of your mind. And once you see your true nature of your mind, you are awakened. You are completely pacified all the negative afflictions and emotions. and negative afflictions and emotions are actually temporarily. They are not the essence of your mind. The essence of your mind is emptiness. And not knowing that is called confused state of mind. And with that confusion, we create karma and we formate karma and we come into this cycle of existence and we experience different types of suffering in the six realms. Okay, so we should focus inwardly, internally, and try to look at the nature of our mind. So this is what it really is, the nirvana, the essence of nirvana. Although, so Gampopa again, he wants us to know that there are methods to realize the wisdom awareness or one's mind. Here, one's mind should be understood as the ultimate nature of mind, perfect nature, that is the emptiness nature of mind. These are from the point of view of conceptual thoughts. The real meaning of wisdom awareness or the mind is beyond what can be objectively known or expressed. Now, whatever Gampopa is saying here, try to express whatever expressions are made here by Gampopa, explanations, display of what is definitions of wisdom awareness, classifications of wisdom awareness, characteristic of each of those classifications of wisdom awareness. All these are just conceptual. Try to these are support. These are method only. These will support us on our journey to find the nature of our mind. These are just conceptual thoughts. Without these conceptual ideas of expressions and definitions and so forth, we will not be able to understand the wisdom awareness. So these are all the method. The real meaning of wisdom awareness is beyond expression, beyond definition. It should be free from all the explanations, all the labels, all the objectives. That's what it says here. The real meaning of wisdom awareness or the nature of our mind is beyond what can be objectively known or expressed. Subhikranti Vikrama Requested Sutra says the perfections of wisdom awareness is not expressible by anything whatsoever. It is beyond all the words because it does not hold any kind of standpoint. It does not hold, it is free from achievement, abandon, abiding, attainment, and so forth. So therefore, it is inexpressible. The nature of our mind is inexpressible. We cannot express nature of mind from our mundane words. It can be only realized from the wisdom awareness. It can be only realized from the ultimate nature, ultimate realization. But still we are saying, we are studying, we are having lots of definitions of wisdom awareness. These are just conceptual thoughts. And another one here, the very important slogan, the praise to the mother by the Rahula says, actually this is the homage, slogans of homage that is in front at the very beginning of Paramita Sutra. Homage to the mother of all the victorious ones of the three times, the unspoken, unthinkable, inexpressible perfections of wisdom awareness, unborn, unceasing, the nature of space, self-awareness, promoted wisdom. So I pay homage to the mother of all the Bhagavata-garbhas, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the mother of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Who is the mother of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Paramita is the mother of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. All the Buddha and Bodhisattva were able to enlighten, able to liberate them from the suffering of samsara because of wisdom awareness, because of Paramita, realizing of Paramita, because by realizing things as emptiness. And that mother, Paramita, is unspoken. We cannot speak, about Prashnaparamita. It is beyond speech, unthinkable. You cannot really think, you cannot really have some kind of idea or imagination of Prashnaparamita. It is beyond that. So unthinkable, inexpressible. You cannot really say, you cannot really say the definitions of Prashnaparamita is so and so. This is actually beyond expressible, perfections of wisdom awareness. And that Prashnaparamita is unborn because it's already there from the beginning, as it is, unceasing, since there's no arising, there's no ceasing. It always remains as it is. There's no time limitations of wisdom awareness or the nirvana, it is always there. So there's no ceasing. Nature of space, just like space, is all pervading in all sentient beings. Self-aware primordial wisdom. Self-aware primordial wisdom. Again, here, the meaning of self-aware is very important, very powerful actually. So, to realize the emptiness nature of your mind, what you really need? You need your own self-awareness. No one can actually point out your true nature of your mind. No one can show you the true nature of your mind. You do not require any kind of external remedy and antidote in order to see your true nature of your mind. What you really need is your meditation state of mind. And that meditation is known as wisdom, self-awareness. You are the one who will be able to see the true nature of your mind. So, seeing the true nature by your mind, self-aware wisdom awareness or primordial wisdom. This concludes the explanations of what should be understood concerning wisdom awareness. So, among the 6 points, the 7 points when Gampopa present this wisdom chapter. So we completed 5 of them. Now, next is the 6th part, that is what is to be practiced. Now we have some idea now what is to be known, right? Some theoretical understanding of wisdom awareness. Even though it is unexpressible, but we're still expressing the meaning of wisdom awareness, definition, classifications, and characteristics of wisdom classification. And these are all to support our understanding. These are all method. These are not the real wisdom awareness that we are talking about. The real wisdom awareness is free from all the expressions, just like it was mentioned earlier. Now, the 6th point is what is known as what is to be practiced concerning the mind or wisdom awareness. If all the phenomena are emptiness, so one may think, okay, we have some idea of wisdom awareness. It is said that things are all emptiness. All the phenomena, including yourself and all other objects, are nature of emptiness. So if all the phenomena are emptiness, then you might ask if it is even necessary to practice that which have been understood. If all the things are emptiness, then is it necessary to practice? Because you think that there's no need actually. If all the things are emptiness, then is it even necessary to practice the emptiness? And the answer is yes, you need to. Because just having theoretical understanding of emptiness will not lead you to perfect and complete enlightenment. If that leads us to perfect and complete enlightenment, and if that theoretical understanding of wisdom awareness will liberate ourselves from the cycle of samsara, then many of us have already enlightened, because we have some kind of idea of wisdom awareness. We have some kind of idea of Prajnaparamita, emptiness, but that did not help us a lot, right? We are still roaming in samsara. We are still not free from our attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth.
Even though we have memorized, so for example, even though if we have memorized the Prashnaparamita Sutra and recite 3 times a day perfectly, without any error mistakes, but that don't lead us to complete and perfect enlightenment. We still get angry, we have still attachment, we have still jealousy, envy, and so forth. So, and the reason why we are still not free from suffering of samsara, the reason why we're still not free from uh, uh, our negative afflictions and emotion is because we have not practiced Prajnaparamita. We have not practiced this wisdom awareness. We may have some theoretical understanding of wisdom awareness, but we have not practiced this wisdom awareness. Therefore, we are still roaming in this suffering of samsara. There's some instructions from great masters says they recite Prajnaparamita Sutra many times, and they count every recitation. They count with their mala or recite mantras, Prajnaparamita mantras, and so forth. They have counted so much that their beats, the rosaries are broken, but their mind have not changed. Their negative afflictions, emotions have not changed. So we become like this. We may have counted so many malas. So we may have recited so many mantras. We may have changed so many malas because we have used them all, and some are fade, some are broken. But have we really minimized, decreased our negative afflictions and emotions? That's something that we need to examine. That's something that we need to look within ourselves and try to what you call calculate whether we really practice the Dharma, whether we have really practiced the Paramita, or we just theoretically understanding and reciting sutras. These are not enough at all. So here it says, if all the phenomena are emptiness, you might ask if it is necessary to practice that which you have understood. And the answer is yes. And here's the example too. For example, even if silver ore is of the nature of silver, until the ore is smelted, the silver does not appear. If one desires molten silver, one must smelt the ore. Likewise, all phenomena are from the very beginning of the nature of emptiness, free from all the elaborations. But since there is the appearances of various things to sentient beings and the experiences of various sufferings, this wisdom must be understood and practiced. This wisdom, not only understanding of this wisdom is enough. We need to practice this wisdom. Just like in order to, if you wish to have silver, we need to smelt the silver ore. Otherwise, we will not be able to get silver. Just like if you wish to have butter, if you do not shake the milk enough, then you will not be able to witness the butter. Even though the milk holds the nature of butter, but until and unless you shake the milk, you will not be able to witness butter at all. Likewise, even though the nature of the sentient beings are emptiness, even though the nature of samsara is emptiness, if you do not practice the 5 parts, then one will not be able to witness the result. So, yes, we must practice this Prajnaparamita. Therefore, one should understand, as was explained before, we should first have theoretical understandings of Prajnaparamita and to practice the Prajnaparamita. And there are different stages of practicing the Prajnaparamita, especially here, the wisdom awareness of the greater supermundane. There are 4 stages. First, the preliminaries, second, equipoise, third, post-meditation, meditative stage, and the fourth one is sign of practice. So these 4 different points that one need to be followed in order to practice wisdom awareness. Okay, So these are quite familiar. We do practice preliminary practices, then we have actual practice, then we have post meditation practice, then we have some kind of signs of our practice, some kind of experiences in your practice. So the first preliminary, the preliminary step is to settle the mind into its natural state. So what we need to do, the first is to rest our mind. So we have been thinking so much. We have always different type of conceptual thoughts. We have so many ideas, we have so many experiences of the past, we have so many plans and ideas for the future, and we do not really live in present. That is our fault. Now what we need to do is just forget the future and past and remain in present. Just try to bring your mind into a calm abiding state. Just forget everything and just rest and try to bring your mind into its natural state. And this can be done simply by the help of different techniques of meditation. We have studied in the 5th chapter, the chapter that's concerning about the meditation, 5th paramita, concentration. So concentration is very important. If you do not concentrate, even in the mundane activities, if you do not concentrate, then you will lose your mind. Your mind is undertaken or overpowered by different things. Then you could not really concentrate at present what you need to be doing, what you need to be memorizing, what you need to be thinking. What we all need is concentration. And likewise here also, especially particularly practicing the wisdom awareness, we need to focus. We need to have kind of a stable mind. That is what is preliminary practice. And in our preliminary practice, there are different ways of practicing the meditation, the body posture, the 7 postures of the Perujana. That's very important, body postures, and try to rest our mind into its nature. By the first, starting from the inhaling and exhaling of the breath, we also call this breathing exercise or meditation. And then we can enrich that breathing exercise by Tonglen practice at the same time, giving and taking practice. This is how to develop your bodhicitta, loving kindness and compassion. And then slowly, when you have some kind of control over your mind, then there are different techniques of meditation at the same time. But before that, before we do the actual meditation, we need to have some kind of preliminary preparing state. And that's what is meant by preliminary practice. And sometimes when you try to meditate, your mind is not focused, you do not really want to practice, you fall asleep, or many things can happen. And this all happens because you have not, you do not have the idea about suffering of samsara. You're still enjoying this samsara, because if you're enjoying samsara, then you do not want to focus. You do not want to liberate yourself from the suffering of samsara. So first of all, you need to have some kind of idea that suffering, samsara is the nature of suffering. There are different types of sufferings, and things are impermanent. So if you have this kind of 4 foundation practice, or 4 thoughts that lead our mind to the path to liberation, or 4 different thoughts that turns your mind into Dharma. So there are many different types of translations here. So at least you need to have this kind of understanding of 4 foundations. These will actually support us. This will actually support us in putting effort into our practice of the Dharma. Here, especially the meditation, concentration. It will also be very beneficial for our diligence. And once you have these preparations of for foundations and for extra for foundations of our purifications of negative efficiency emotions, the accumulation of good merits, our Vajrayana styles of preliminary practice, 100,000 prostrations, practice of the purifications of bad karma, where you focus on Pachasattva practice, accumulations of merits, where you focus on mandala offerings, and then Guru Yoga practice. So these are very important. Remembering the kindness of your teacher and wishing him or her in front of you or on your ground, receiving blessings. This will actually enrich your faith and devotions towards the Dharma. So these are all a good support for your meditation practice. So their preliminary practice is very important. Sometimes meditation instructor says that actually preliminary practice are more important than the actual practice. If you do not have the very strong preliminary practice, then when you actually practicing the Dharma, there's not so much power, not so much control. You're easily driven away by different conceptual thoughts. So therefore, if you have strong preliminary practice, especially renunciations on the suffering samsara and faith and devotions towards Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and your gurus, and very strong understanding, awareness of impermanence, suffering of samsara, and so forth. This will really encourage us to the practice of Dharma. This will really encourage us that thinking that, oh, there's so much time left for now for me to practice Dharma. Well, I'm getting late. I need to focus on meditation. I need to understand the true nature of my mind. I need to see the emptiness nature of my mind. I need to focus. Then it will actually support you. It will make you bring diligence in your practice and so forth. So these are very important. Preliminary practice are very, very important. And if you do not focus, if you do not know how to focus, if your meditation is not good, if you could not rest in the nature state of your mind, if you are driven away by different thoughts, then first thing what we need to do is we need to get support from how we can place our mind into one stable point. So there's this different techniques that were mentioned in different meditation instructions, like the 9 points that help us to put our mind into one point. And there's the breathing exercise. There are many different ways and methods how we can really place our mind into one point, bring our mind into calm, abiding state. So these are very important and advisable for you to read and to actually put them into practice. And this will help you to remain your mind into one state. It will then you are not overpowered. Your mind is not overpowered by negative afflictions and emotions. You have some kind of control over your mind. When you have some kind of control over your mind, when you have the control of letting your mind go, or letting your mind stay, or letting your mind focus on different deities, letting your mind focus on nidam deities, or letting your mind focus on your chakra, then there's a possibility. Otherwise, if you do not have any kind of control over your mind, then you cannot do anything. You're always driven by either past experiences, thoughts, or future planning thoughts. And then you could not really focus on the present, at present. So therefore, we need to read those instructions and follow those different points, 9 points that help us to remain our mind into one stable place. So these are very important. Okay. So this preliminary practice, we have been doing this for many years, and we should also have some kind of very strong, actually, foundation practice. Not only physical movements, but from the internal, you know, our mental strength, internal awareness is very important. Internal realization, internal awareness of our foundation, the message that what Four Foundation is trying to give us is very, very important. Otherwise, physical movement, extra, especially the physical movement, uh, obviously it has some accumulations of good karma, but then that itself is not enough. We need to have more understanding than that. It has more deeper meaning than that physical movement. So, for foundation practices are very advisable, very important, and we should always focus and do not forget those important instructions, those valuable, important, very relevant, and beneficial instructions. We should value them, we should practice them, and we should always aware we should be aware of all these importances in our life. Okay, having said that, we'll leave here for today and we'll continue in our next session. And before that, before the conclusion, we will dedicate the merits for the well-being of all sentient beings. So nam de pamje se ba nye dom ne nye be da nam pamje ne ke ga na je ba la tro ba ye se be so ne tro gu nyo tro sho chan jo sem cho ren po che ma ke ba nam ke ke ba nyam ba me ba yang gong ne gong do be wa sho